Funsize Show!
All right, today we're going to hang out with Stu Smith, super good friend of mine, long-term collaborator. He's one of the first people that I met when I moved to Austin. He's a super busy guy, constantly flying around between Austin and Australia, so I don't get much time to see him anymore. Plus, I'm so busy as well. But today, we're both taking the day off, and we're going to go drive some race cars and taste some whiskey. And we're going to start by meeting him over at his home office in Southwest Austin and catch up with him and see what he's got going on. All right, so let's get out of here.
Hey. Yeah, man, here's the spot.
Awesome. Look at all those Legos.
I know, it's like Lego Guitar World. Too many guitars.
It's been a while since I've been to your house, too.
Yeah, I think last time you were here, we hung out in the garage and maybe drank whiskey, watched the laser cutter run. I think that was the last time you were here.
Yes, I do remember that.
So
I do remember that.
it was a fun one.
Yeah. Your role at Atlassian has changed.
Kind of tenure there. I've held other head of design roles. I was head of design for Trello for 2.5 years, and then also led one of the Jira products, Jira Work Management.
Was it hard for you to give up the baby over at Trello and hand that over to someone else?
Yeah, definitely. When I started there, I started with the original founding team. I joined about 6 months after they were acquired. And so went through that whole period of them integrating into Atlassian, really getting to work with that founding team, absorbing that culture, especially they were really big, like remote pioneers early on. And so getting to get steeped in that DNA was so freaking cool. It was like an education in and of itself, getting those years doing that. Then I ended up taking over and being on the leadership team for those couple of years I talked about. And yeah, it was definitely a hard thing to step away from. But at the same time, the design team there is killing it, and they've got such momentum. They're going through a whole, rework of the product that we kicked off last year. And yeah, so it was tough, but I'm also fully confident they've got it.
So I'm curious, in this day and age with the economy being the way that it is, and also with the remote nature that the world has gone, how are you thinking about building design teams? What are the things that are working in your advantage? What are the challenges? How are you thinking about the future of your design org?
Yeah, I probably don't have a good answer on the economic side, but I think the thing right now that's really working for us is that there are a lot of people looking for roles, and we're one of the few places that still has consistently been hiring. So right now we're definitely on a mission to up level. We want to be a world-class design team. So right now we're able to go and source talent that it might be a once in a decade type person to land, which is a really awesome advantage to have. And so I think that's going to be a thing that's going to, as economy has gotten tighter or as roles have shrunk, we are in an advantageous position to get this awesome pipeline through. And I think as I'm growing the team, I'm for sure also seeing similar pushes that are happening in the industry, where we are starting to value things that maybe we didn't value as much 6 years ago when I joined Atlassian. So things like visual and interaction design. I'm really enjoying that design is, and you probably feel this too, design is having this comeback around craft. I think in the past several years, it's been oh, give me the seat at the table. I want to learn how to talk business, which are all valuable things. But now that we kind of have those, and design is a leading discipline, and now we're getting asked okay, well, get back to the things that made design important in the beginning.
Well, thanks for having me over at your office, but I think we should get you out. We're going to go do some Formula One racing simulators and go drink some whiskey for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I'm into both of those things. So. Yeah, did you hear we sponsored an F1 team?
I heard about that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this has been the biggest exciting thing at work, but it's pretty rad. We're the title sponsor. The team is actually on a big upswing. Anyway, as just like a hardcore F1 fan, I've been to every race in Austin. I'm like so stoked.
So does that mean that maybe you could take me to a race sometime?
maybe. I'm thoughts and prayers that I even get to go, but
I've never been to a race. I'd love to go. I'm actually kind of nervous about the simulator.
Yeah, you're gonna
itself
crash so much. So will I. It's just gonna be comedy, basically.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's see if we can carry a conversation while we're driving hundreds of miles an hour in a simulator.
Yeah. So we have to race the Austin track. That'll be the one.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm stoked.
All right, let's get going.
All right. What's up?
Mike.
Good to meet you, man, Stu.
Welcome to Online Racing Center. We are the premier sim racing destination of Austin, Texas. There's a lot to overview here, so please hang tight with me, okay? Basically, they're going to be time attack challenges. This is what we do to grade our drivers in-house. Everybody starts off as a D. You can tackle these challenges and accumulate points as you go up the rankings. Left-hand board for you guys. This is going to be some pre-selected tracks we've kind of curated here for you guys. We do highly recommend starting off first timers on either Monza in the Formula One V10 car, or Tsukuba in the GR6 Cup car. Going to be a ton of fun, relatively easy to control the car, and a pretty simple track to drive as well for you.
Not a lot of turns in Monza.
Yeah, Monza is basically your bullet going straight
Yeah.
down. And the 2 turns will murder you. Turn 1 Monza is just notorious.
Yeah.
That being said, we do a lot of in-house events as well. Endurance races, leagues, tournaments, you name it, that happens here in some capacity.
I definitely want to race Coda, if possible, in a Williams, if possible. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do violence.
Yeah, we could start off easy too. So
Each selection is about 30 minutes. The simulators, there's a lot of technology here, so it takes quite a bit of time to really understand what's happening,
yeah.
feel the equipment, and get a true understanding of how to operate the equipment. Awesome. All right, guys, let's get you all set up on the simulators, okay?
Radio check.
Alright guys, thank you so much for racing with us today and welcome to Monza. We got you on a qualifier session. You're good to go. Let's go ahead and try to set your fastest lap. Good luck, guys.
Sweet. Yo, Anthony, gotta move, dude.
All clear on pit exit. You can push now. Okay, Stu, we've got 9 minutes to get the job done. Yellow flag.
Already crashed. Hey, nice one, Anthony.
You're locking up your fronts a lot. You're locking
He
your fronts
did.
going into Lesmo 1.
Dear God. Where's reverse?
You downshift past neutral, it'll put you in reverse.
Oh, I see you. I see you. I see you.
All right,
You're
so
in the lead.
you were saying that you got interested in Formula One when Formula One came to Austin. Who introduced you to it? Over.
Yeah. So when I first got into F1, it was when the race came to Austin. So I had a client way back then, 2012, that they were doing the helicopter charters into the track. Because back in those days, there's only like two lane roads out to Coda. So all the like celebrities and like high net worth beeps didn't want to wait in traffic. So I have always been into cars, but it was pretty sweet. Like my first gig related to F1 was building a little app for those people to book their helicopter flights into the race. So this is people like people that work for the team, people that are sponsors. So I went for free that first time, and I just got so hooked on everything about it. Over.
What is it about racing that you enjoy over?
I think it's kind of that it's more about Formula One. The technology that goes into these things is so crazy. Like this that we're driving is a really old, more simplistic race car. The new ones are basically like fighter jets on the ground.
Anthony, 142.9.
And one thing that's really cool about Formula One is a lot of the development that happens in the cars themselves for racing then comes to street cars. So things like hybrid technology was developed in Formula One and perfected. So it's pretty awesome. Oh my God, I just rammed you.
Oh, Smith, always driving off the road.
But yeah, I'm definitely more into Formula One than other series. Like, it's really the engineering behind everything that is so intriguing to me.
Have you ever thought about working as a designer at Formula One?
The number of times I've tried to do that is probably more than I'd want to admit.
What other things do you like to do outside of work?
Yellow flag.
What, racing?
Outside of work, I'm definitely a maker at heart. So at our house, we have a whole maker space with laser cutters, 3D printers. So I'm always doing stuff with that. And then also just like, honestly, like I get a lot of satisfaction of building things physically. Like I just built a fireplace at my house.
What kind of things do you like to make?
I don't know, man. It varies like crazy. Like these days, I'm printing like the dumbest little things on the 3D printer for the kids. But yeah, I like love doing house projects. Like we just built an outdoor fireplace at our house, and I got a quote for like $4,000 or $5,000 for this build out, and I was like, man, I can figure that out. And so I really like going into that mode where it's a little bit like Zen for me, like getting into the tools and actually like sketching something out, buying the materials and building it is like so freaking satisfying.
Is that why you decided to be the general contractor of your backyard project?
Yeah, exactly. That's like half of the fun for me is actually figuring it all out. And I always like have kind of had that ethos of like, if somebody can do it, I can figure it out.
What kind of stuff do you like to do with your family?
We're definitely big like on experiences. Like this past summer, we spent a whole month traveling in Europe. Went all through the Netherlands, France, Italy. And so that was just like,
Just 2 minutes left.
you know, just a total blast to be able to do that. Like feel really fortunate to have been able to do that.
Going into
My son's also like super deep into baseball right now, so that's a blast. And have worked a lot with my daughters on like their own business, which they have they started their own 3D printing business at 8 and 10 years old.
Wow, are they still doing that?
Yeah, they are. They've got more money in their bank account as like now 10 and almost 13-year-old than I had when I was probably in my 20s.
That is incredible.
All right, guys, welcome to Coda. You guys are good to go. Got you in a qualifier session. You got about 10 minutes to set your fastest lap, and the race will start shortly.
Okay. All right, let's do this.
Okay, take 6 clear. Push. Okay, Stu. We've got.
All right, here we go.
Get the job done.
See if we can make it past the first turn. Let's go 2 miles an hour. There we go. Wow, it's just crazy. So Stu, have you noticed any parallels between the world of Formula One racing and the field of digital product design?
Oh man, I mean, biggest thing is it's definitely like a team sport. Like F1 and like racing in general, you always see like the person out on the track. But these teams are huge. There's, you know, I don't know how many are on like the average team, but it's kind of like 800 to 1,000 people to get these 2 cars on track. It's a massive amount of like navigating similar like organizational challenges. So probably not like a direct relationship to like tech or design, but definitely lots of parallels with teamwork in general.
How are you doing on these turns, Stu?
Well, the only advantage I have is I know this track well, so I know when they're coming. That was the thing in Monza. I was like, I have no idea. Even though it's fewer turns, I just don't know the track as well. This one, I'm like, I've been around it so many times on a bike, in a car, on foot, that I know when the turns are coming. So at least I don't have to watch the map. On the last track, I was watching the map like nonstop. I say that as I go off.
The context on this is really weird because when you slow down, it feels like you're going super slow. But
Yeah.
you're still going like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
This car that I'm driving, it's got this piece of plastic in the middle, so it makes me feel like makes my eyes want to cross.
You know what that thing is?
I don't know, but I'll make a guess at what it is. Is it to line up?
No, so it's called the Halo. It protects the driver's head in that crash, and it's already like saved multiple drivers from major injuries.
Well, that's awesome that it saved drivers from injuries. How many drivers did it make permanently cross-eyed?
All of them.
So you have a very busy job as a design executive at a very big company and a very big team of people that you manage and lead. You have a big family. You're involved. Your kids are busy with businesses and baseball. Wife has a business. You like to make things. Like you're very much into race cars. Like, how do you have time for all of this stuff?
Man, sometimes I hit the margins pretty hard. Like, I have to be diligent about my own burnout like crazy. Because I'm not a person that is really good at sitting still and just kind of chilling. Like you asked me what I like to do outside of work. I'm like, well, generally it's like doing more stuff. And so I have to be really careful about not taking too many things on. I feel like, especially as my role has increased, I've like had to get a lot more accountable with myself and and get good at saying no. And so there's no like secret hack, but there are times when I'm just like, I gotta take myself out of situations, being really clear that I'm taking full time off. Like, I'm not one of those people that like works on the weekend. I don't like if I'm on vacation, like I don't have Slack on my phone. Like, I'm pretty unreachable. So I've got to have those like those times off really, really protected.
All right, guys, when the lights go out, the race is live. Good luck.
All right.
Go.
No. Haha. No. Oh, nope.
Oh my gosh.
What are some other things that you do to take care of yourself and stay healthy or mentally healthy so that you can balance all of your responsibilities?
Good start.
Well, I mean, lately I've been getting back into working out for the first time in a while. Like, all that stuff, everybody struggled with that during like COVID lockdown. But I'm finding that like really intentional like time away from screens, like lifting heavy things, is helping me just to feel better, which also just like helps me show up better. I think that's like the main thing lately, is just physical activity is like massively helpful.
I love how the announcer is saying like, "Oh, you're looking really good."
I also
Doing
like
really
how
good.
I kept getting them being like, "Yeah, you're locking your tires into the turn." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm going backwards currently." appreciate the information.
What does it feel like having a teenager?
Well, in a lot of ways, like, it's pretty awesome. Like, I enjoy the kids kind of the older they get. I like, not to say I didn't enjoy having babies, like they're awesome and fantastic, but I love the like ages where they can reason quite a bit more. I mean, for sure they become more stubborn and their own people, but I like the things we talk about better now.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like at first with my son, like when he was really small, I was like, oh, I'm gonna miss this stage, right? That really small stage. And then the next stage is like, oh, I love this. I'm gonna miss this stage.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty much what you're saying. Like, you think you're gonna miss all these things, and some things you do, but it just keeps getting different.
Yeah.
And better.
Come on, Stu. Just 5 minutes left. Hold your nerve. We can win this.
Yeah. I'll be on the podium if I can just keep it together.
It helps when there's only 2 spots. Yeah, I think the weirdest part of my kids getting older is you can kind of like see the like end of your parenting career in the distance.
Whoa, that's a weird thought.
Yeah, I mean, here's a weird one for you. Like the car I have now, I think my daughter will drive. Like, she's 13, and in 3 years, I'll probably still have that thing, and she'll probably be driving it to high school. And then 2 years after that, she's like theoretically going to college. So like, that's insane to me, is being like, okay, that's not far away.
Yeah, it goes so quickly. Whoa.
People tell you that stuff when your kid is like a baby, and you're like, yeah, I can't even hear that right now, but it happens, man.
So what are the things what do you got planned for this year? Personal plans, not work stuff. What are you looking forward to for the rest of this
I'm
year?
building a little cabin in the woods. That's like one big thing. I never thought I'd be doing that, but our family bought some land out in the Texas Hill Country. And so I'm really excited about that. I also am hoping to get back into speaking. That was like one thing that I did a lot of before the pandemic. So that's definitely like the thing I'm working towards. Ooh, all right, I won. Sweet.
Yeah, you won.
Nice race, guys.
Oh. Yeah, you got 10 laps in on that. I only got 8.
Ooh.
Man. So did we make the team?
No. I think we have to look at the database, but I think there was only a few valid laps from you.
Yeah.
Nice. So you're saying there was a valid lap?
There was a valid lap in there.
Well, that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think I need whiskey to like decompress from that.
Well, that's where we're going next. So why don't we? I don't. My arm is all numb. My arms and my legs are numb.
Yeah.
Weird.
It's dude, this stuff is like, I like the simulator with all the motion, because you get like the real actual like adrenaline off of it. Yeah, like sweaty sitting here in front of a computer.
I really didn't know what to expect. I didn't like, but that took a lot of energy. That was super fun. Well, let's go take some whiskey.
Sweet.
All right, let's do it.
Oh yeah, man, we gotta cheers this.
Cheers. Sitting in the barrel house.
Yeah, that's actually one of my favorite distilleries. So they have a really awesome lawn outside that this is a nice place to like come on a Saturday, let kids run around while mommy and daddy enjoy some of the fruits of our labor, something like that.
We should go check out the lawn outside as the sun goes down. Have a romantic second bourbon.
I like it.
So yeah, I'm glad we could come here, because I was planning on coming here, and then when we asked you like what you like to do, you mentioned this place, and I was like, yes.
Yeah. Also, I needed after like the adrenaline rush of race cars. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was pretty something. So what I'd like to talk about is how you got into design and ultimately leading up to where you are now. Like, let's start back as far as you want to go. Like, where did you grow up? What was your childhood like, and how did you learn about the craft of design?
Yeah. I think it's a really different story than most people that are in our industry. Maybe it's people that are closer to our age have similar stories. But I didn't grow up around anybody that had a design career. So my dad was a pastor of a church, not really a design field. My mom was a teacher. But I definitely had an older brother that was more of an artist. So I followed in that direction, like grew up seeing him, not even like as an official trained artist, but like somebody that was like really good at drawing. And so I always had this affinity for more like drawing art classes. And if I'm being honest, I probably gravitated toward those classes because I was like not good at math and not good at like, especially I'm for sure like, I for sure skipped so many like science classes in high school. And so all the way through, I was like gravitating towards these like more artistic things. It's like, oh, that's the fun way to get through school, and I don't have to do what these other losers are doing. And so I remember distinctly the first time that I realized that design could be a career. It was, I think, my senior year of high school that SCAD came and talked to our art classes, because I was in college level art classes in high school, and a recruiter or a campus rep, whoever came, and they're like, hey, we're from this place, Savannah College of Art and Design. It's like, wait, you can actually learn about that and outside of this class, whatever. And actually the context there, they were talking about industrial design. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like somebody has to design like the toaster we use or the cars we drive. So that was really cool to just get a bit of a view into that. But it kind of like ignited some curiosity where I didn't go to SCAD, but I went to Texas Tech and then University of Texas.
You went to Texas Tech?
For just 1 year. Yeah.
I don't know if I ever knew that.
Yeah, man.
What year were you there?
I was there 2005.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the saying is Lubbock or leave it.
Lubbock or leave it.
I freaking left.
Yeah. And happiness is Lubbock in your rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I couldn't vibe with Lubbock. But had some really cool professors, and actually I think that experience of having the person from SCAD like opened my eyes that, oh, I don't have to go do what all my peers are doing, is what led me to when I went to Tech. I was a studio art major, and I took classes, like I took a color theory class from Dirk Fowler, who, if you don't know, is like one of the world's best poster artists. He's freaking amazing. It's at Flatstock every year. And then several other professors where I was like, gosh, this is like amazing. I can actually dive into this. I ended up switching after freshman year because I hated Lubbock to Texas Tech. Way different design program. So I didn't study design there. I went into like a business and comm degree. What I had picked up at Tech was exposure to fundamentals of visual design, and also picked up like the creative suite. So I had gotten, I think it was like Adobe CS, like just one. There wasn't even editions yet. And I was really enjoying just making things for like the bands I was playing in. Like definitely had friends where it was like, hey, we're putting out a record, need somebody to do the art for it. And so like, it's just funny that like spiraled into like, oh, somebody in this band, their parent owns a business, or hey, the apartment complex you're living at now like needs flyers designed. So it was this really like backwards way of being like, okay, I kind of got into design to like slack off from the official subject so I could be like into artist things. And then it like all of a sudden was not like crazy lucrative, but was more like, oh, I can not go all these traditional paths. And so it really spiraled. It was like I got into it that way, started freelancing quite a bit, turned that into a small design shop, and then startups, and now a big company.
So the business that you mentioning, is that Sputnik, or was that a different?
Yeah. So I had a shop called Sputnik Creative for about 8 years here. That really, just started as my like freelance practice, but started getting bigger and bigger clients, bigger contracts.
So like just a step back, like when you finally made the decision to make that official and start the business, at the founding moment, how would you have described what the mission, like what the mission of your business was? What type of work were you at?
Yeah, it was for sure like, I think I even had like a tagline of like one-stop shop for blah, blah, blah. But it was for sure more around like logo creation. I hadn't gotten into web stuff at all, like in the very beginning. I think going back to like being a more of a visual designer, I had done logos for like different things throughout the years. And that's what I kind of got known as, was like more of a logo designer. Yeah, and I think made all the classic mistakes of like trying to do way too much. But I don't know, back in those days, I didn't have anything to lose. There was no there was no mortgage. There was like my operating expense in those years was so low to where if I'm kind of just skirting by, and I'm talking like the early years of Sputnik where I didn't have employees, it's like, okay, I can try anything. I can like take some risks. I can do whatever, because there wasn't really anything to lose.
Yeah.
Which I'm so like thankful for that stuff. It was awesome.
So I think we met when we moved here. I think that was probably about 15 years ago.
I remember the
Roundabout.
exact moment.
Well, okay, tell me.
You and Natalie walked into the Ginger Man, and it was at a Dribble meetup that Paravel was hosting. So I don't know what year it was, but I remember the exact moment of being like, I don't know these people, because I knew most people in that crowd, and y'all stuck out because I didn't know you. And I was like, oh, who are these people?
If memory serves me correctly, pretty much one of the first things we did when we moved here was like try to find, like, we just immediately started to find out what the local hangouts were.
Yeah.
Just like pretty instantly, because we didn't really know anyone and stuff. And we met you, that must have been right after we moved here.
Yeah.
So in that time frame, how long had Sputnik been operating?
That was probably like 3 or 4 years in, because it was just me, and then we added Jay Roberts was my first designer that worked for me, which was so cool. Got introduced to him through a friend. Jay was like the first like proper designer I worked with, where like he was like actually good at what he did. I was just like scraping by. I was like, oh man, this guy's awesome. And he was a bunch younger than me, but yeah.
Through your history of running Sputnik, were you still close to the craft, like throughout?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, that was kind of the funny thing is, my chops got worse at like visual design as I got further into owning the business. And I had moments like when Jay came on, I was like, oh, like the things that I struggle at, he is amazing at. And so let's put Jay on that. But what was interesting was the areas where the design team that I put together to like be really good at like visual identity work didn't have any passion for like UX-y things. And so once I kind of found that, whereas we had gotten into more web work, started doing more like what would be product design work before it even had a name, was the stuff that I was like super stoked on. And actually like that was the thing that I was actually pretty decent at, that I could see in the group that we had. I was like, oh, I'm the one that like can help sense make through these projects. And even like getting into UX was like, again, I hadn't even heard that term until I had been doing the career for a while. I was like, oh, that's what that's called, like where you do all the wireframes and user flows. Like, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Yeah. So, but I mean, up until the very end of running that business, I was still, very in the tools all the time. I think I was like the last Fireworks user ever.
We were talking about that in the car. I mean, I think Fireworks was actually a pretty cool tool. Like it had the potential to be what Figma
Dude, Fireworks,
is today.
Figma is just Fireworks with multiplayer. Like, I mean, at the core, it feels really the same.
We were also talking today about how like some companies like acquire businesses and they don't remember what they acquired.
Yeah.
I imagine that Adobe might have a moment like, I wish we had like a tool that could do this.
Oh, dude, if you had just added multiplayer to Fireworks and put it in the web, which all those like just statements are like bajillions of dollars in effort, but yeah.
People used to give me a lot of shit for using Fireworks.
Yeah, the thing that I loved about it was like all the like just in comparison to Photoshop at the time, I loved how like direct everything was, where it's like, if I want this freaking box that size, like just type it in, go for it. All the like margins and padding were there. So I still do think that like Sketch, Fireworks, Figma are all like of a similar paradigm.
What made you decide to close the agency down and transition your career from agency owner to working like in-house at tech companies?
It's a long, like, fabled story, so a few things during that time. I had kind of fallen into owning this business where, like, I didn't ever set out to have a bunch of employees. I didn't set out to have that as a thing. Like, I think a lot of people, and maybe y'all included, it's like you were at Evernote and you're like, okay, I want to go out on my own, start this thing. I started more where it's organically, it's just growing, and then you wake up one day and it's like, oh wow, there's a lot here that's happening that I didn't want to learn about sales tax. I didn't want to like learn about winning business all the time. And so I was pretty happy running that shop, but always had like a gnawing in the back of my mind where I was like, what am I missing being in a larger organization? Because I knew that I didn't know everything. And I also thought the people that worked in-house were like weak designers. Like that was like, I think that was a popular thing back among like owner circles, and it maybe still is. I'm not in those circles anymore, of sort of being like, if you go to in-house, it's like giving up or losing, which I found to be dramatically different, where, you know, I was working alongside of really driven, educated entrepreneurs who, like, I would, you know, these are people that I would never get to spend 40 hours a week with in an agency setting. Like guys that went to like Harvard Business School and have sold companies and things like that. So yeah, anyway, benefit of perspective to just be like, look, it's not that big of a deal to change it up.
Maybe people that are younger haven't experienced this, but things kind of ebb and flow, right? Like when there's some new technological advancement or change in design, like at some point in times, like maybe the agencies are leading the charge, and at some point in times, like the in-house teams are leading the charge. Yeah. Kind of ebbs and flows, right? And I mean, I experienced the same thing. Like, you know, when I went in-house, I thought everyone was like super smart, and in fact, I felt like I was like, wow, I thought I was talented, but these people, I know, I thought they were way more talented.
Yeah.
The problem that I had, and I'm curious if you had this, is I couldn't accept that I was no longer the boss. And it took me a lot. Like I thought at first that it was like, oh, like the process is here, or whatever. But looking back, it was because like I just had like too much ego or something. Like I was just so used to being a boss, you know, like, or making a decision about the way to work, and I just couldn't deal with that.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how long it took you to shed that skin.
I have like a mixed take on it, because I think I always thought I would be like the worst employee ever. I think out of all the chaos I was involved in, I was so thankful the like first month that came around where it's like, oh, I'm not logging into Gusto to like send out payroll. Like, thank God I'm not doing that. So I like really embraced through that chaos, like that the problems that were driving me nuts were other people's problems now. So there was like a bit of that was like saving grace.
Yeah.
I did struggle a lot with moments where I was like, oh, I'm not sure this is like the decision I would make, but I'm not the founder anymore. And sort of like having to follow somebody's lead where I don't think I ever was like, oh, I'm like vehemently opposed to this, but I'm like, I don't know how to get my point across that like, that's not exactly what I would do.
The trade-off, right? Because you don't have the weight of some of these decisions
you don't have
solely
the risk.
on your...
Yeah. So you don't have the risk, so you also don't get to say. But I think I had like a good clarity from my music background of like understanding my role in that band, if it makes sense. Like, you know, like in bands, there's like the front man and there's the rest of the band. And like in an agency, when you're running it and it's your baby and you like founded it, you're the front man. Like everything is your way. You're the lead singer. Like, but I think in like the in-house world, I like figured out, I'm like, okay, somebody else can take that position. And I can be the side man and I can be the supporting crew. But it did take a while, and it still does. I'm like, there's still moments where I'm like, oh man, I really wish I could just like pull rank and do it my way. But
yeah, I mean, kind of related to what you're just saying. My friend Ale runs a design studio in Iceland called Metal, and the way that he runs his whole studio is like running a metal band. He's like, we have a band.
That's pretty fun.
We all play an instrument. Every instrument player needs to be best, play that instrument better than anyone else.
Yeah.
You show up to band practice, you do your best, or you're out of the band.
Yeah.
And like he even interviews people that way. He grows their career that way. It's like an interesting analogy, of like, I don't know, I thought just kind of something I thought you might be interested in.
No, I mean, I attribute like a lot of my success in this career from just like being in good bands, like, and having what it means to be a good bandmate modeled to me.
Yeah, it's a team, right? And people lift each other up and fill in the gaps and riff and.
Well, and bands too are, if you go to a 2-hour concert, that's 2 hours of your week. That 2 hours is like the small tip of the iceberg of what that band has done that week. Like, they've flown to your city, they've like rented gear, they've practiced, they've done all these things where it's like you prep 40 hours for a 2-hour show, and like all that time that you're like bearing with other people, you're like in a van with them, you're like intimately knowing all of their like dumb jokes or annoying things. Like, you have to learn that like to work on a design team too.
What's the future for you, right? Like, I mean, where, like, you're kind of at the top. Like, where do you think you'll take your career from here?
Man, I want to know the answer to that question. Like, because I get asked that often. I'm like, I'm pretty happy with how things have gone, and I'm like, I don't know if I had projected out. Like, it's 10 years this year that we closed Sputnik. So I would have not said 10 years ago, like, oh, I'm going to like have these roles, I'm going to get to work on these things. That never would have been like a thing I would have projected. So like, I'm keeping things open-ended, but I think, future for me is still going to be leading teams. Like, I want to continue to get to spots where I have an outsized influence on the direction of things. It's been really, really awesome in my current role that I've gotten to be part of like pivotal changes to world-class, like high user count products. And so like, I definitely crave more of that. I think I've long known that I'm a builder, not a maintainer. Like, so I would be a horrible fit in a company that's working towards like incremental changes and improvements. Like, those like words make me nauseous. Like, I want big swings. I want probably like high risk. Maybe it's from all this background of like having had a really crazy set of like circumstances that were pretty risky. So that's the thing. I'm like, I most crave big changes. I also think agency world sets you up to where that's the thing that is in your DNA. Like, I'll notice in like a corporate setting that people that undergo changes like every quarter or something like that feel like that's a big change. Like, man, if stuff sits still for like 6 weeks in an agency, that's awesome. That is like long term. So yeah, pretty open-ended is what I would say.
Do you find that the experience that you had running your business, you're able to bring different ways of thinking and different methods and processes to your peers and colleagues?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, the biggest thing that I learned was probably in those first couple of gigs post Sputnik, where it was like in a startup environment. I was like, oh, I kind of had the superpower of being scrappy, where like, you're running a design shop, you have a client come to you and you're like, okay, I don't know exactly how to do the thing you're asking for, or here's like a real tangible example. We had a bunch of lifestyle brands that we worked for where they're like, hey, we need a photographer to go shoot our thing. And they're not saying that to be like, so we're going to go do the work. They're like, Anthony, we need a photographer to go shoot our thing. And they assume that you're going to figure it out. And you do, like, because that is how you get paid. And so that's definitely translated into every one of these more, proper jobs where, like, I definitely, if I'm handed something, I'm like, yeah, great. If the playing field or like chessboard is this way, but I'm handed this other thing that doesn't compete with that, like I'll figure it out. It's fine. So definitely like a difference that I've seen.
I appreciate you getting out of the office and spending the day with me. Do you have time for one more drink before we leave? I mean, you live in the neighborhood, so
Yeah,
can't say no.
Yeah, no, I can't say no. I need it. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's go get it.